All right, in this video we're going to be looking at how to use a graphing calculator to find a table and a graph for a function. First off, if you have my notes, there's a slight typo here. This should be negative 0.5x to the fourth for the example that we're going to start out with. So make that change in your notes, please. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is in our graphing calculator, we're going to start by, move my screen over here a little bit. We're going to start by clicking the Y button. Okay, and I'm going to clear these out. All right, and so once we click the Y button, we can type in our function. So if you forgot how to do that, first off, a negative, we don't use the minus sign underneath. That's these gray buttons. Do not use that as a negative button. The negative is to the left of the enter button. And then 0.5. And then the X is over here next to the alpha button. And then we're going to do to the fourth power. And then you're going to arrow over to the right because we want to move that cursor from being up in the air. We want to move that down to the ground again. And then plus 3x squared. So plus 3, and then the x button again. The squared button, we could either do the caret and a 2, or you could just type in the squared button, which is much faster, and then plus 2. Now before we look at a graph, we're going to look at a table of values for this function. So I can do second, and then the graph button. Notice above graph it says table. So second and then graph, it'll create a table of values. This just gives us a table when x is 0, y is 2, when x is 1, y is 4.5, and so on. So this is valuable if we ever wanted, if this was a story problem, and it said, find the total when x is 8, whatever x is referring to, and then we could look at when x is 8, the total will be negative 1,854. So that's the value in using a table. So in your notes, we're not going to go through all those different pieces because it's much harder to find those actual values where the graph increases and decreases. In fact, using the table, we're just going to get estimates. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to go now and we're going to graph this function. Before we graph it, though, I do want to check my window settings. And it looks like my window settings are pretty good. Let's see how it looks when we look at the graph now. All right, so this is a shape of our graph. So now we can answer, let's go back to our notes so we can answer some of those questions. All right, so we see the graph here in our notes. It's the same as that we have on our graphing calculator. And now let's identify all these key features. I'm going to start with the end behavior because this is a good warm-up or good review of what we did yesterday on the previous video. So we look at, without even looking at the graph, we can look at the leading term. We can see that, so remember we're going to have a right and left side of the graph. I can see that the leading term is negative, so I know the right side is going to go down. I see the degree is 4. That's an even value, so the left side is also going to go down, which, sure enough, is what's happening in our graph. So for the end behavior, we would say as x approaches negative infinity, so that'd be the left side of the graph. Y is approaching negative infinity as well. It's going downwards. And as x approaches positive infinity, so on the right side, the y values are also approaching negative infinity. All right, so let's look at how we could find all these other key features. So we need to know some significant points here. Because the first question is asking us, where is it increasing? It's increasing until it gets to that point, and then it's increasing from here to here. Now remember, we describe where it's the intervals where it's increasing and decreasing. We describe it on the x-axis. So for that first spot where it's increasing, it's starting from negative infinity, from where x is negative infinity up to where x is this value. I don't know where that value is. And then this starts increasing again at 0, then I don't know that value either. Okay, so I need to figure out what are those values. So we're going to go back to our graphing calculator to figure that out. All right, so those values again are here and here. So to find those spots, those are spots where, if you notice, it changes direction. It goes up, it hits that point, and then it comes down again. So that is a relative maximum. So to find that, we're going to go to second and trace. Don't click the trace button, click second and trace. We're going to go down now and we're going to select maximum. We've done this before, but if you've forgotten or didn't have a graphing calculator before, move your cursor to the left of that maximum point and hit enter. and then move the cursor to the right of that maximum point, hit enter again. Notice how your calculator, your operating system will either do two little arrows with or without the line, but in between those two arrows is where the maximum should be. And then hit enter one more time. It gives us that maximum value. So that's where x is negative 1.7, y is 6.5. But the key there is that x value. So we're trying to find out for what values of x are the values increasing, and it's increasing from negative infinity to negative 1.7. All right, now let's find the other spot where it's increasing at. So we're going to go through that process again. You can't just move the cursor over. It doesn't work that way. You have to do second, trace again, go down to where it says maximum, move this anywhere to the left of that maximum point, hit enter, move it to the right of that maximum point, hit enter again, and then one more time, and it puts it at the top there. And so the x value again is this time a 1.7, a positive 1.7. So those are the intervals where it's increasing at. Now where it's decreasing, we really don't have to do much because it's decreasing here and here. We already know where so this first branch here, we know that it's going to start decreasing from where the previous one left off at negative 1.7. And then it's going to continue to decrease until it hits 0. And it's going to change direction, it increases, and then it decreases again at positive 1.7. And then it continues to decrease as long as we continue to pick values for x, so as we continue towards infinity. So it's asking what are the turning points for the turning points? We're just looking for the x values. So those x values where they change direction basically are at negative 1.7, it changes direction. When x is 0, it changes direction because it starts by increasing, it changes direction at negative 1.7, decrease. It changes it again at when x is 0 to increase, and it changes direction a third time when x is positive 1.7. So when we're finding those turning points, we just describe it using what values for x does a graph change direction. So for the relative maximum and minimum, for these, we're looking at the y values. Okay, so for the relative maximum and the relative minimum, we're looking for the y values. So let me erase some of these lines here. So for the relative maximum, looks like it's going to be the same, but again, we're looking to see what is that y value. For the relative minimum, it looks like it's at 2, but we can double check that on our graph. So let's go to our graph and figure out what are the relative maximum values and the relative minimum. So to find the relative maximum, again, we're going to do, well, actually, we could see it right here. We already have it. We can go through the process again, but we already see that the maximum when x is 1.7, the y value is 6.5, and that was the same for both of those. All right, so now let's find that relative minimum. So that's this point right here. So we have to do second, trace, but this time we're going to select, minimum. We're going to go through the process the exact same way. Go to the left of that minimum point, hit enter. Go to the right of the minimum point, hit enter one more time. And sure enough, we could see that that y value is at exactly 2. So even though it's easy to assume that, it's always good to just be sure that it's not a decimal. All right, now let's find the x-intercepts is the last thing we need to find. So the x-intercepts, again, where it hits the x-axis, we don't want to just guess. We're going to find the actual values here. So we're going to do second, trace. The x-intercept, if you notice, it's not listed here. But we have this option of 0. 0 is another name for the x-intercept. So we're going to go to the left of the x-intercept, hit enter, go to the right of the x-intercept, hit enter again. And so our x-intercept there is the x value is negative 2.6. This here is just your calculator's way of saying 0. So y is 0 and x is negative 2.57 or negative 2.6. And if you go through that same process, you're going to find that the other x-intercept is the same exact value, just a positive. So see, again, you get 2.6. So negative 2.6 and positive 2.6 are our x-intercepts. Now, when we list our x-intercepts, please be in the habit of writing these coordinates. So again, that coordinate is x is negative 2.6 when y is 0, and x is positive 2.6 when y is 0. So that's how we write it as a coordinate. All right, I want you guys to do the same thing with this example. Okay, if you want to, for the end behavior, you can start by just using the leading term there is x to the fifth without even looking at the graph. But then I want you to find all the other ones by looking at the graph on your calculator. So go ahead, pause this video, find all those individual pieces, especially the interval increase, decrease. I know that's a little trickier, but do your best to try to find all those, and then hit play when you're ready to check to see if you did it correctly. Graphed it. This is the graph that you should get, something like this. If you're wondering what window settings to use, sometimes you just have to guess and play around with it a little bit. But this is the window settings that I use. So if you want to go back and see, so if you had some problems with that and you're waiting to get the answer, maybe this will help. So maybe pause the video again and continue on. But otherwise, I know the hardest point that people have is where's the graph increasing or decreasing. So it's increasing again from, we're using the values for x. So for the value, when x is like negative 5, it's way down below what we can see. When x is negative 4, it's way below what I can see. But then all of a sudden, as we get closer here, we can see that as the values for x get closer to 0, so as we continue from the left here, until we get to this point, where x is, we don't know yet, you end up finding negative 1.8. But when you find that point, that is a point where it changes direction. So from negative infinity to that point, it's increasing. And then from this point here, which this you find is negative 0.3, and then continue on to infinity, the graph continues to increase. Okay, and we say positive infinity not because the graph goes up, we can see that, but it's because the values for x, as the values for x increase towards infinity, the y values also continue to increase. So let's look at my notes here so you can see what our answers are. So again, those values where it increases, it changes direction at negative 1.8 and negative 0.3. So from negative infinity to negative 1.8 it increases, and then from negative 0.3 to infinity it increases. In between those 2 points is where it's decreasing. So from negative 1.8 to negative 0.3. And then you see our turning points there, our relative maximum and relative minimum. Remember, those are the y values, not the x values. Our end behavior you can easily get without even looking at the graph. And then our x-intercepts, again, you use the graphing tool and the different features to be able to find those x-intercepts. So that is the first part of lesson 3.2b. And for the second part, as far as how to sketch a graph by looking at description, you're going to watch the next video for that.